Good morning, traders. I am Emily Bonney, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Thursday, November 14th. Investors continue to weigh economic data, what the Fed will do at the December meeting to close out 2024, and expectations tied to the upcoming Trump administration. Following inflation data that met expectations yesterday, markets ended mixed. The Dow and the S&P 500 closed higher. The Dow added 47 points or 0.11%. The S&P 500 ended essentially flat, up 1 point or 0.02%. The Nasdaq closed off by 50 points or about 0.25%. Bill, let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're up 0.12%. That's positive, over 0.1%. Like to see that, seeing green on the screen. We got a host of economic reports coming out today. You also have comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell later this afternoon. So in the morning, the PPI. In the afternoon, you got Powell. This could be an interesting day. On the earnings front, we got some positive earnings coming out from Disney. CSCO also came out with positive earnings. As well as JD.com. They came out, they were positive, but we'll see how that goes. One of the, there's two big stories hitting the tape today. I mean, issue number one is Capri Holdings. They're terminating that merger agreement with Tapestry, and Lilly, ticker LLY. They have a phase 3 trial for a drug that was very positive. I'll get into more of that later, but those are the key aspects that are earnings and pending economic data are really the key aspects to the market this morning. But you look over at Europe. Europe is also benefiting from the same thing. We're positive economic data. The GDP came in positive for the Eurozone, and earnings results have been positive. You look at the DAX, it's up 250 points or 1.32%. You're looking at the FTSE, which was flat, but it's now up 34 points or 0.43%. So that's a nice rally. And the CAC is up over 1%. It's up 76 points or 1.04%. And really, economic data is positive, earnings data is positive. That's really helping those European markets out this morning. Asia wasn't so lucky. Asia saw a lot of weakness. With like the Nikkei, for example, it fell 0.48%. The early morning gains were just a race, primarily due to weakness in infrastructure and technology stocks. And then you look at the Hang Seng in Hong Kong. I mean, that fell 1.96%. I mean, there's that continuing ongoing weakness in tech stocks. It's kind of a concern over China and their stimulus bill. I mean, you look at the China's market, the Shanghai index fell 1.73%. It erased the gains from the previous session in China, and it really just is showing that there's a lot of caution with respect to their latest stimulus action. Is it enough? Because it's not really directed at individuals. It's directed really at banks. And, there's, also concerns about potential changes in trade policy and the slowdown of credit expansion. So these are the things that are really affecting, China's the Shanghai market. But then we're turning our attention to oil this morning, and oil is showing some slight gains. WTI is at $68.92 and Brent is at $72.79. You did have the API oil stockpile estimates come out last night, and they did show, show a draw of 800,000 barrels for last week, ending November 8th. But the EIA is the official one, and that's coming out this morning. It's coming out at 11, a half hour later and a day later than normal due to the Veterans Day holiday. That's really going to be the key one to focus on. I mean, you look at the oil prices, and they've been under pressure by the stronger dollar and a gloomy demand outlook. And then you also have to consider the aspect of elevated, hikes in production that are forthcoming. If OPEC does finally decide to increase their production. That's going to lower oil prices. And then U.S. production will likely fall off because, Trump might say drill, baby, drill, but the shale guys are the guys making the decisions here. And I got to tell you that there's a price point where they say no more drilling because it's not competitive for them. They don't achieve a significant enough return. And, you're still like $10 away from that. But, with the OPEC oil production, increasing now, you got to keep that in the back of your mind as a concern. But oil prices are trading slightly higher this morning. And that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update report, Emily.
Bill, as you told us, earnings and economic data are key aspects in the markets this morning, as you pointed out. There's a number of earnings, even the big bellwether Disney released. So let's get to earnings action first. Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings?
Let's talk about Cisco Systems, ticker CSCO. Wasn't a bad report. They beat by 4 cents. They did it on higher revenue. Stocks trading down 1.32% right now. I mean, it was trading higher, but it wasn't able to hold. It gave back those gains after earnings, and it's now slightly lower. NetEase, ticker NTES, Nancy, Tom, Edward, Sam, they missed by 64 cents on lower revenue. Stock is showing a slight gain of this morning though. Disney, ticker DIS, hey, they beat by 4 cents on higher revenue. There was a lot of positivity in that report. That stock's trading higher by 8.74% this morning, so that was nice to see. Upcoming announcements, after the bell, you got Post Holdings, ticker POST, Paul, Oscar, Sam, Tom. Their EPS is $1.19. Expected move is 5.22%. Also, after the bell, the big one, the one the market is going to be paying a lot of attention to is AMAT, Applied Materials, Apple Michael, Apple Tom. EPS is $2.18. Expected move is 6.20% when they release this afternoon, Emily.
Bill, you'll be following that along, following AMAT, watching your earnings alerts come in. So that's how you're following all of those reports. Speaking of reports, you're also following economic data today. And as you told us, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is speaking today. So give us a rundown of everything we should be watching when it comes to economic events.
Yeah, we got a host of economic events going on today. 8:30 a.m. you get jobless claims. You also get the PPI, the final PPI for October at 8:30. And then at 11 a.m., you get the EIA oil stockpiles reports. This morning, we heard from Fed Governor Adriana Krugler. She spoke at 7 a.m. But at 9 a.m., we're going to hear from Richmond Fed Bank President Thomas Parkin. Then at 3 p.m., Jerome Powell. He's going to be part of a moderated discussion, and he is expected to, talk and touch on the economy. And then at 4:45 p.m., after the market closes, we're going to hear from New York Fed Bank President John Williams. In terms of, the PPI, it's going to be closely watched. Markets are expecting a 0.2% increase in October compared to like the no change that we saw in the September reading. The year over year is expected to rise to 2.3%, up from 1.8% in September. And, if these forecasts are accurate, I mean, it would indicate a slight acceleration in producer price inflation, but we'll have to wait and see. But, keep an eye on Jerome Powell. I think that could really be a market mover this afternoon. But that's what I have for you in terms of economic data coming out today, Emily.
Again, I'll point out you'll be able to follow those comments from Federal Reserve Chair using your NewsWare. You have alerts set up for the economic events, as I mentioned, for earnings action. And there's still other market moving news you're keeping track of day in and day out, looking at things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news. You're looking at your stocks grouped together like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
I'm just doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow. It's like they got 22 higher, 7 lower, and 1 unchanged. Okay, that's hey, looks like it, is a positive opening. Then we're looking at your FANG stocks this morning. A little weakness in Apple, a little weakness in Tesla, but everything else is in the green. So that bodes well for a higher opening. In terms of news hitting the tape, Apple, they're facing a lawsuit in the UK over alleged iCloud monopoly. That they steer people to their own storage devices. Yeah, they do that. We'll see if this holds any teeth or not. Something on Google. I mean, Spotify is now going to start paying hosts to make podcast videos. they're really trying to, take a chunk out of YouTube. But we'll have to see how this goes and plays out. Meta Platforms, they're planning to introduce ads into their Threads, which is their Twitter clone. They're planning to introduce ads to it in early 2025. In terms of Dow Jones 30s, we got Amazon reports that Amazon held a mandatory anti-union meeting at a New York City warehouse. See, you can't do that. That's not good for Amazon. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the stock price, and stock price is trading higher. So it went on. It's not going to be an issue. Visa yesterday, I saw that the European Commission has opened a preliminary investigation into fees charged to retailers. We expected this. We talked about that a while ago. This is not new, but they did open it, so that's why we're talking about it. In terms of merger news, Capri Holdings, ticker CAPI. Charlie, Paul, Richard, India. Capri and Tapestry, they mutually terminated the merger agreement. And the reason why is because they didn't feel that they were going to get U.S. regulatory approval. Lena Khan of the FTC is really hard-nosed on these approvals. And, she's likely going to say no to it. So that rather than trying to force it through, they're just going to go on their separate ways. I do want to point out the ticker TGTX, Tom Grace, Tom X-Ray. A lot of takeover chatter in this stock. It's really become elevated in the last few days. I hear that JP Morgan and Bank of America are said to be involved. Keep an eye on TGTX. Could fetch a price of over $50 a share. In terms of guidance news, Cisco Systems, they see Q2 adjusted EPS coming in 89 cents to 91 cents. Street estimate was 87 cents. That's an uptick. Nice Systems, nice raise there. Full year 2024 EPS viewed at $10.95 to $11.15. Street estimate was $10.73, so that's a big uptick. In terms of shareholders meetings, Oracle, they're said to be holding a shareholders meeting today at 10 a.m. ticker ORCL. Keep an eye on that for some press releases. Broadridge, ticker BR, they're having a shareholders meeting today, supposed to start at 9 a.m. In terms of buyback news, Markel Corp, ticker NKL, they approved a $2 billion buyback. Hilton Worldwide Holdings, ticker HLT, Henry Larry Tom, they announced a $3.5 billion stock buyback. Tapestry, ticker TPR. Merger agreement is not going to happen, so guess what? They added an additional $2 billion worth to their share repurchasing authorization, TPR. And that's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
Going with Eli Lilly, ticker LLY, Larry Yellow. I mean, this news on the weight loss drug is very positive. I mean, they reported their phase 3 study of their weekly injections for adults with pre-diabetic conditions and obesity. And what it come down to was 99% of these people remained diabetes free for 173 weeks during the trial. That's huge, and they lost weight. So that just shows you that how strong in how strong these drugs are and how beneficial they can be, and underscores the vast opportunity in these weight loss drugs. With Disney, when you look at Lilly, right now, and it is trading, well off its highs, there could be opportunity here. And I'm looking at yesterday's call volume, 17,653 calls versus 8,118 puts. That's 2-to-1. And then you look at the open interest, 181,106 to 159,703. That's also positive. And I keep an eye on the brokers. They remain positive, and some are even raising price targets. But the price targets are over 1,000 here, and the stock is trading 800. But so if I can get in under 815, that would be great. But that's my pick of the day. Eli Lilly, ticker LLY, Larry Yellow, Emily.
Eli Lilly, it is today. We will follow that along with you. And coming up, we'll do a recap on yesterday's pick of the day, so don't go anywhere. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our Hot Off the Press segment. Bill, take it away.
Windtree Therapeutics, WINT, William India, Nancy Tom, CEO Frazier to retire, Latkin to succeed. IBM to become UFC's official global AI partner. Okay, that's interesting. Six Flags, ticker FUN, Frank Uncle Nancy. They're going to invest over $1 billion over the next 2 years to enhance guest experiences in their 42 parks. OKLO, Oscar Kilo Larry Oscar, they announced a proposed acquisition of Atomic Alchemy for $25 million. General Mills, ticker GAS, they're going to be acquiring Whitebridge, North America's business, for $1.45 billion. Disney sees double-digit growth in cash provided by operations for 2026. Ticker BILI, Boy India, Larry India, they announced a 200 million share buyback. Capri Holding, CPA, they report October traffic up 6.5% year over year. Williams Sonoma, WSM, Green Energy Partners, takes a large position according to an SEC filing. Amazon, they are started working with this Amazon Haul service. And, it's really for items under $20, and it's really a response to some of these Chinese sellers like TermU and Shine. BHP Group, the company is likely to flesh out plans next week to spend at least $7 billion over the coming years to recover more metal from the world's biggest copper mine. It's a mine in Chile. General Motors recalling 77,000, a little over 77,000 vehicles as incorrect software in the transmission controls module could cause the vehicle to move in an unintentional direction. Amazon One Medical launches a service comparable to HIMS, ticker HIMS. That's very interesting. Yeah, they're able to really compete like nobody else's business. That's all I'm seeing this morning.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading on this Thursday, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was JD.com. Now, they did report earnings. They've reported a Q3 EPS of $1.24 versus 92 cents last year and ahead of estimates. They've reported Q3 revenue of $37.11 billion versus $33.95 billion last year. And again, it was ahead of some estimates out there that were predicted and trailing a little bit behind others. However, the profit and revenue bump, really came as consumer sentiment improved. But as you've mentioned on this show, Bill, on and off, there's still caution around China's overall economy. The stock has bounced around this morning, taking a little bit of a drop at first, but it's climbing its way back up at last check. I think I saw 36.70 at last check. So, Bill, how did your call work out?
It worked out. I mean, skin of my teeth kind of here, but, listen, the stock opened up at 36.53 yesterday. I was saying, you want to get in under 36, and it did fall down to 35.56. It closed at 35.69. But look at the stock this morning. It was weak, but, it's starting to rally now, and the stock is trading at 36.67. So you look at, the price I gave of 36. Yeah, that's a 2% beat. If you look at, versus the opening price, well, it's about 0.75%. But JD.com, I look at it as using that price target of under 36, and that really was a winner. Skin of my teeth there, Emily.
But still a win. So we will take that. And we will check in with you tomorrow about today's Eli Lilly pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow to end your trading week at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.